Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Amplify Your Research session. This is for the law materials. So we have a series of these research sessions that are happening every month between June and October. So we had June's last month on newspapers. This month is going to be on law materials. So thank you for joining us. We'll give it another couple minutes before we formally get started, give people a chance to get logged into the meeting, and then we will get started. Quick note to everybody, this meeting is being recorded. Once the recording is available, it will be posted online on the Arizona Memory Project, and I will throw a link to where you can find those. There will also be a companion PowerPoint, but the PowerPoint will not be part of this presentation. It'll be sort of a companion piece that will be also uploaded to the Arizona Memory Project, and you can follow that along as a guide and a reference along with the recording. So for this recording, I will be demonstrating on the site itself rather than go through slides. It's a lot easier to see how everything is happening if you can sort of see me do it on the screen itself. So yeah, we'll just give it a couple more minutes and then we will get started. Okay, let's get started. Hopefully everyone is able to see the Arizona Memory Project homepage. So yeah, we will be going into the site itself, and we will be looking at how to research the law materials on the memory project. So quick note, this is not going to offer any legal advice or offer any legal opinions or anything. All we're going to be doing today is showing you on the Arizona Memory Project how you can find the law and legislative related research materials. So we can tell you what we have, how to find it, but not not what to do with it. No legal advice. So just want to put that disclaimer, I guess, out there. So, all right. So here we go. If you have any questions, feel free to raise hand, throw in the chat, throw in the Q&A. I will probably address them after I go through the presentation, and then we can. I'll keep the screen share up so we can go back and refer to anything that you may need to reference as we answer any questions. So I anticipate maybe about 30 minutes for the presentation and then Q&A after that. So first things first, this is the Arizona Memory Project homepage. You can bookmark that link if you haven't already. If you do any browser search for Arizona Memory Project, this site should be the first search result, but it's just azmemory.azlibrary.gov. So this will take you to the home page. One thing I do want to point out first is you have the option to create a member account. It's not required. You're not going to see anything extra. You're not going to lose out on seeing something. Nothing is blocked from your view because you didn't create an account. What it lets you do is create bookmarks for yourself within the site that you can reference later. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to log in as myself, and then that will open up some extra options on the side here that allow you to customize items that you are most interested in. So if you come over here, you would click log in, Well, that automatically logged me in. Let me get to the page where it has a register now option. There we go. So when you click login or your welcome guest, if you click the guest, register now. So you can put in whatever name that you'd like. You can put in the email address that you want to use for this account. Those would be your login credentials. Click register. That will send an email notification to us, and we will look at the account credentials that you created, and just we have to manually approve it. So it doesn't automatically send you a password. We have to go in the back end and approve it. As long as it's the same business day, you should get it the same day. And often, because we're in the back end all the time, probably within 5 minutes of you sending it, we'll see it and we'll approve it. So whatever email address that you enter, a temporary password will be sent to that email address. You can use it to log in for the first time, and then you can change those credentials if you'd like. Change your password. If you notice that you accidentally, entered the name wrong, you can change it, anything you'd like. Or if you switch email addresses but want to keep your account, you can do that as well. So I'm going to log in as me. You may see a couple extra things. I'm logging in as an administrator, so there's a couple things on here that might pop up that you're not going to be able to see just because you'll be at a member access level versus administrator. But just for these purposes, this works. So when you log in, it'll say welcome, and whatever name that you entered, that's me. You will not see the admin. That's something only I can see. But when you get over here, you can click to my profile, blocks out your password. That's my email address. Anyone can have that to contact us. So yeah, this is where you would change things. You can change your password, change your name, things like that. And the other place that you'll have access to now is called My Collection. So this is where you bookmark items. These, you're going to see the things that I've bookmarked. So whenever you bookmark an item, and I'll show you how to do that when we go through the law materials, it shows up over here as a running list of items that you wanted to bookmark and keep track of. And you can also create collections. So if you're working on a project, or you're looking at, for example, all the attorney general opinions that are related to something that you're researching, you could create a new collection and call it, for example, Arizona attorney general opinions, bookmarks, whatever you want. And then that will create a collection over here where each of these represents a collection that I've made for myself. And then if you want to add items to that collection, click all the items that you want. You can do all of them if you like, and then basically select from the drop down which collection you'd like to add the item to. Add checked items to collection, and then when you come over here, if you created something new, you'd have your drop down, and then all the items in this collection that you added will be listed under here. So for example, this was me doing some other research on a project. So you could see everything that you've added to your collection. So I'm going to log out for now to ensure that what you see while I'm screen sharing is what you will actually see when you are on the site versus something that only I can see because I'm logged in as an administrator. So I don't want to confuse anybody about what you're able to see while you're exploring the site. So here's our home page. Again, back here. We have the law collection materials in the featured collections section. These top rows are for rotating collections, but this law collection is always going to be here for you. Before we jump into that, I want to go all the way to the bottom to need help getting started. You can click on more, and you'll see that we have tips for getting started. We have a special section for legal and legislative researchers. So anything that's law related that you're interested in, click on this, and that will take you to a designated page that provides resources specific to law related research. And we're going to be going over some of these as we go through the presentation. So a few of the things that we've highlighted are the session laws. We know that those are used a lot. So what you get is a section that sort of describes what they are and links to the collection itself. So if you're interested in searching the Arizona session laws, if you already know that's what you want, or if you weren't sure and you came to this page and you said, yep, that sounds promising, then you could click the link that goes straight to the collection. If there are related collections, then those also get mentioned, and they're linked out there too. We know that the Senate and House journals are used a lot. We know the administrative code is used a lot. And there are other materials here that I will come back to We have LibGuides that our law librarian and other staff have contributed to, have written. They're basically research guides that say, okay, I'm interested in patent and trademark research. How do I do that? I'm interested in researching the administrative code or the history of the Arizona State Legislature, how to do federal legislative history research. So those are very topical and specific to research processes for very specific things that you're looking for. So these are here to let you know that if you can't find something on AMP, there are other resources that are out there that you can look into. And some of them provide more step-by-step instructions for how to do a particular kind of research related to the type of documents or legislative materials that you're interested in. So know that those are there for you as well. And collectively, they're known as LibGuides. So make sure that if you ever get stumped, then you can come over here and see if maybe there's a LibGuide written for it. And of course, you can always contact us. And I will note at this point, my role here at the Arizona Memory Project is to manage the site as a whole, but I am not a law librarian, but we do have one at the State of Arizona Research Library. We do have a law librarian. And so if you have a question, you can certainly use the contact information to let us know if you have a question, but you can, that will come to me. And if it's something that I can tell is out of my league, as far as I do not know the answer to this law-related question, we have a ticketing system, and I would forward it to our law librarian, and they would be able to handle that for you and be able to explain in better detail than I could the information that you need to proceed with your research. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that this page is here for you as well. So going back to the home page, you would scroll down to featured collections, click law collection. So it's formatted as a collection and we call it the law collection, but it's not just one thing. The law collection, as this page exists, is a collection of collections. So here you can see we have the admin code, the admin registers, attorney general opinions, court rules, executive orders, session laws, all these things. So these are all dedicated collections that we've organized based off of what they are. So these are the journals of the House. These are the journals of the Senate, introduced bills of the Arizona Territory, if you're looking way back versus current. We have legislative bill files, items related to water law. We have documents that aren't necessarily part of a collection up here, but they are nonetheless related to law. We have publication sets, which is basically similar items bundled together into a set of items. So that way you don't have to go searching for all these items individually. We'll get back to these. I'll show you what a publication set looks like. We link the law collection to, in this case, an event. So the Arizona legislative sessions. So if you know what session you're interested in looking in, you could click on this and you would, you could click on a specific session. So the second session, the third, the 53rd. So that way you can limit when you're looking for something. Other items are formatted as handwritten scanned items. Sometimes we get older documents that are handwritten and can't be OCR'd or text recognized. So we throw those in there. This one looks like it's text based, but I think because of the quality of the scan, the OCR didn't pick it up. So we put it over here. And then we also have a topic page of law. So it's not just law collection items, but things that are related to the law more generally across the entire site of AMP. So we'll get back to these and I'll show you what each of those other things look like, a publication set, how the events are structured, how the topics are structured. But for now, here are the law collection items on this page. So now I'm going to go into a specific one and run some searches and show you how you can search specific types of things. So I'm going to go to the attorney general opinions. So let's say, for example, that you were interested in looking at attorney general opinions. You know that's what you want. Okay. There's a collection summary that sort of describes how they are organized. So you might see things with opinions ending with an L that indicates that they were written as letter opinions. C means as a concurring opinion, things like that. So it kind of helps you sort of decode the way that you'll see some of these items being described when you get to a specific item. So for most of these collections, we do have a custom search. So you can run a search over here and then that would search the entire site. But since we're sort of focused on law, at least for the purposes of this presentation, we do have custom search boxes. So what you type in here is going to only search Arizona Attorney General opinions. We've set it up so that way it's only looking for items that link back to this collection. So, for example, I'm going to run, I'm going to run a search for elections. Search this collection. All right, you can see that there are 326 results found, all within the Attorney General opinion collection. And you can see what those look like. These are all the results where it found the word elections somewhere, either in the metadata itself, so a field that describes the item, or it'll be in the OCR, the text recognized area of the item. Before we jump into a specific one, I do want to call out these filters over here that you can use to narrow down your search results. In this case, format's not going to do a whole lot of good because they're all documents. If you were running a more generalized search in the site, you might have something split between a document or a photograph or something like that. But here they're all going to be documents. Starts with if you know the opinion number, for example, for existing 72-022, if you already knew that's the one you were looking for, you come over here. If you got this far, you can come over here, click it, tell it that it starts with a number. That'll sort of organize them by number. You can clear the filter. Has the following. I think that's what would only show up if there were tags. You're not really going to see that a whole lot in law stuff. Within data, you can change that so that way your search word was elections. You can change this to make it only search the title, so what it's called. So if you switch it, these will all go away because these just have the opinion numbers in the title. It doesn't have the word election. You can also change it to all fields, which is just the metadata fields, but not the text recognized content. And by default, it goes to all fields plus content, so that's searching inside the document. And you can also limit it by date. So for example, if you knew you only were concerned about opinions that were released in 2001, then you could change this to 2001. Click on that. And now you went from 326 results to just these 5. So these are good. These are a good way to filter or facet your search results, so that way you get something manageable if you wind up with a lot of search results. And anytime you want to remove any of these filters, you can do them one by one, or you can remove them all. And doing that will return you to your that removed everything. Let me go back. Collections, search this collection. There we go. Back to our 326. Okay, so let's say that opinion 72-022 is what you want. You would click on it. Wherever it found the word in the document, it's going to highlight it for you. It'll automatically open up to this field or this view where it tells you this is everywhere that I found the word elections. So in this case, they talk about it a lot. It's a 7-page document, but elections is mentioned 60 times. You can also adjust things if you want to refine what keyword search you were using, or if you want to find something else in this document. So, okay, it's related to elections. I see the word education. How many times have they mentioned that? And so it'll just reapply the text recognition for it. So that's where it will show up for you there. Okay, so we got that far. Let's say that this is something that you want. You want to use it for reference later, rather than trying to remember where it is or how to find it later. There's a couple things you can do using these tools on the side. So I'm going to go back in and log in as myself, and I am just going to highlight this just in case I lose my spot. I want to log in. I'm going to log in as me. These tools won't change. The only thing that will change is your ability to add something to your collection. So we'll get there in a moment, but just to make our way down the list. For most of these, you should be able to download You may not be able to download the metadata record. That could be something I can see, but you should be able to download the webmaster. So all you have to do is click on that and you'll just get a PDF version of this document. So if you want it for reference later, you can save it locally. And you don't need to use the My Collection. So if you'd rather download it and have the document for yourself, say you want, to add, notes to it, or, print it off, write it up, make notes that way, you can do that. Add to My Collection. All you have to do is click the star, successfully added to your collection. And I'm just going to jump over here real quick, just so you can see how that appears when you add it. So go to My Collection. There it is. By default, whatever one you add most recently will be at the top. And if you ever add it by accident and you don't actually want it in there, then you can just delete it and it goes away. So you can do that as well. All right, I am going to log out again, just to minimize anything you might see that, I lost my spot. Minimize anything, just so the interface that you see, is what I'm showing you is what you will actually see. If you have a question about something, if you're like, even if you notice something like, hey, the metadata over here is, saying something that's, not true, or, this says it's the Gary K. Nelson, but it's actually someone else, anything like that, feel free to let us know that something needs to be fixed. But if you also have a more generalized question and say, hey, I'm looking for, it's referencing this R63, I'm having trouble finding it, is there anything else that this opinion is related to? How do I find it? Any questions that you might have about what you're looking at, you can click the contact us. If you are logged in, it will autofill your credentials. Otherwise, you can enter whatever you'd like. Type in your message, I have a question about this. By default, because you're contacting us through this method, it will give us a link to the exact document that you are referencing. So all we have to do on our end is click the link, and that way we are looking at what you were looking at when you had your question. You can also email it directly this way. You can also call us if it turns into something where you're looking for something that we don't have online. You can request an appointment, and we'll work with our law librarian to pull materials for you that you can visit us on site, and we can have those items ready and available for you to view. So that is if you want to contact us about it. And if you need to cite it for some reason, if you're doing a write-up and you need to reference where you found something on the memory project, just click that citation button. And this will build a citation for you. So all you have to do is copy paste it, as long as you're comfortable, using this format, and it doesn't need to be reformatted into something else, a different style heading. So as long as you're happy with this, then all the component pieces are there. You're welcome to do that. So so that's how you actually interact with an item once you get here. I'll show you some of these other links and how they work over here. So these are metadata links, and then these are more generalized links. These usually link back to something that's related to it. So in this case, it's related to the Gary K. Nelson Attorney General Opinions sub-collection. And over here, you can see things like who's the creator, where was it published, or who was the publisher, what's the subject, the date range, other things related to that. This will be particularly important, the right statement. This is a standard right statement that applies to, I believe, everything that's in one of our law collections. It's just a standard notice about, the copyright may be held by the creating agency. We're able to put it online for the purposes of making it available to people. But depending on how you want to use it, you may need to do some further copyright research or get in touch with the agency itself. And you can work with us too, with our law librarian, for any questions about like, well, how do I go about doing that? Or how do I use this? Things like that. And we can refer you, again, no legal advice, but we can refer you to resources that will help you. For at least the Attorney General opinions, we have a dedicated law grouping of metadata. So you'll see that the opinion number is over here, the opinion request number, because sometimes the opinion number and the request number, are off, they won't match. And sometimes all you have might be the request number, and you might only have the opinion number. So this is a good way to sort of cross-reference those things. And just other metadata, it's related, these are the topics it's related to, the call number is mostly down there to help us if we're interested in looking at a physical copy and things like that. So yeah, information about the item you're looking at is over here in the metadata. Things that this specific item is further related to shows up over here. So these sort of function like breadcrumbs to sort of contextualize this document. So for example, this one is in the Gary K. Nelson sub-collection of Attorney General opinions. So every Attorney General opinion that we have that's available digitized and online shows up here. So, and because of the way that the titles work, they will show up in opinion number order, which may not necessarily be date order, but if you know the number, then you can search this way. And that's, this, again, the landing page that had the description of this particular collection mentioned that the L means it's written as a letter thing. And you can see other links that it goes to. So this sub collection is related to the whole collection of Attorney General opinions. And you can see that we've broken this down by Attorney General rather than have one big long list of documents that just sort of flood the page. This at least allows you to give you, if if you're interested in searching the Attorney General, because that's who you're searching, those are the opinions that you're looking for. And it also gives you a date range. So you have a quick way of knowing where you're going to wind up. So all the Attorney General opinions in the Grant Wood sub collection are between 1991 and 1999 because that's when he was Attorney General. And you can see that this collection as a whole is related to this agency, the Attorney General of Arizona Territory, which was superseded by the Arizona Attorney General's office. I will open those in new tabs that we'll get to. And you can also see that this links back to that law collection page that we looked at. And it also relates to the Arizona State Government publications, because it's also the Attorney General Opinions collection is part of the Arizona State Government publications. So yeah, we have an agency page for the Arizona legislature. There we go. This is what I wanted. Yeah, so agency linked to the Arizona Attorney General's office. So this has other things that are not just the Attorney General opinions collection. Not everything that we have that's related to the office is in that collection. So you can come here and you can see that all these documents that are related to the Attorney General's office are here. And you can see all these other links where it can get kind of overwhelming. Seeing all these links and where do they go. We're working on sort of making these a little more clear about what happens when I click on these, where am I going to go. But right now we have things like if there's a preceding agency, so if you're looking for something that's older, the succeeding agency is here, so any agency that succeeded it. Here I'll jump into, we have a topic page for law. So not just law collections, not just state government publications that happen to be related to law, but anything on the entire Arizona Memory Project website that is related to law gets tagged here. So you can see that we have a lot of documents. We have those publication sets again. Click on one of those. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you can sort of see how these line up with what's on the side. So you can see that there are documents. We've got publication sets. I'm going to open this one. We can get back to later. We have oral history. So the Arizona State Archives, they did an oral history project with Arizona legislators. And so they talk about, their time in their position and, laws they worked at, issues that they were concerned about and working on, things like that. We're working on getting, thumbnails, images for everybody, but there's oral histories related to law that are not otherwise part of that law collection of collections. We have a person category, so people who were involved in law. So if there's some specific person that you're interested in, you can search for them that way. Images that are related, so usually it's some photographs of politicians or courthouses and things like that. All the agencies that are related to law, those all get linked there. So if you know which agency you're interested in, you can click here. and that will take you to all the items in the memory project that are related to that agency. Transcripts, sometimes there's, court proceedings or things like that that get uploaded here. Again, handwritten scans, things that OCR can pick up. Some collections, so these are usually things like newsletters, bulletins, flyers, things like that. Any books are related to law. We've got some videos and audios. There's those collections again. Some other ones that aren't just contributed by us. So we have the legal and court history of Cochise County, for example, maps related to law things, Arizona legislative sessions, which I'll open up as another tab, so you can take a look at that too. The Arizona State Capitol is in place, topic, crime, right? So you can make your way through this page, and you can see that we have a lot of law-related things. And again, if this is overwhelming and you're having trouble finding something that you're looking for, you can always contact us. So here's a publication set. So affected session laws. So rather than have you run a search for affected session laws and just get a list of search results that you have to like, comb through and look through and open up a bunch of tabs, we just combine them here in the affected session laws publication set. So is it an affected session law document? Yes, then it gets added to this publication set, and now they're all here for you. And you can bookmark this publication set as a whole. You do not need to go and bookmark every individual document. That's one of the main advantages of creating this hub, this publication set for these related items. You can just bookmark the one page, and then you can click on this. And then when you go in your My Collection, you can click on that link, and that takes you here. And now you can work from individual documents from this point. Here's Arizona legislative sessions. So we created these as events where every year we created a new event for each of these sessions, so or assemblies. So if you know which one that you're looking at, you can click in here, and you can see all the things that are related to the 1864 First Legislative Assembly. Any images that are related, any people of prominence that we have information for, all that stuff gets linked. All right. I started with this for the law collection because I know that everyone here is going to be interested in maybe starting from this point. And again, you can add to my collection. But let's say you wanted to start with a search, and for example, you wanted, I'm just going to grab one at random. I'll find a better example than that. Anyway. So if you know the opinion number, we're going to run a search for 75-004. Whoops. 75-004. Okay, so I got here by just going to the search bar on the side. Click this. There are a few things that you can do. I happen to know that these are all going to be documents. By default, it's going to search all these item types. But if you know that all you're looking for is a document, you can choose that. By default, it's going to be looking in all the metadata fields and all the OCR parts. For this example, I know that it's going to be in the title. That's the only field I want it to look at. If there's a date range, because of the way this is structured, it's going to be 1975. So you don't need to deal with that. And this is just a general keyword search. Any keyword where it doesn't matter what order you put them in, it's going to look for any of the keywords you put, and then this is going to be an exact phrase match. So I'm going to do that just because I don't want it to be looking for 75 somewhere else. I want it to look exactly for 75-004. So let's run that. Click over here, do your search. There it is. And you can see that it found it in the title, so it highlighted it for me. Click in there. Wherever it finds it in the document. And this is where it gets a little bit weird. If you did an exact phrase search for 75-4, you wouldn't be able to find it using the method I did because it's not entered that way in the document. So sometimes you have to do a little finagling with the searching to sort of to find exactly what it is you're looking for, just for that's sort of kind of a known issue with this collection in particular is the title is entered doesn't always necessarily match what it says in the document. But we chose the title specifically so that way it would show up in the opinion number ordered for you. All right, I'm going to go back to that law collection homepage again, show you a couple more collections and how they're structured, just so we don't focus entirely on the Attorney General opinions collection. Let's look at the admin code. If you're interested in this one's set up a little bit differently than the others. So you've got the Arizona Administrative Code, again, a description of what it is, how you use it, what kind of information you will find in it. This is a collection of sub-collections where each sub-collection goes by title. So when we upload new content to these administrative codes, it's mostly the supplements that we're adding. We go into the supplements and we basically extract the titles out of it. So here for Title II, administration, you can see that here's the administrative code, and before Title II, and then the supplements start. So the supplement is searchable. So if you know what supplement you're looking for, you'll be able to find it in the search because it's in the title. And again, the way that these are titled, these just create a running list where they will be in the order. So if you know right now what I'm waiting for is supplement 24.2 to become available. The last one I did was supplement 24.1. That's the most recent edition. So you would just navigate knowing that you're starting with 0, and then you just sort of need to navigate until you get to supplement 24. Yes. 11. Yeah, there's a little trial and error as you make your way through. Now we're getting close. 18, 19, 20. So it should be on the next page. And sometimes you can tell, you know, where the most recent one is, because clearly this is something that was, you know, published a while ago, so 1975. But yeah, so that's how you would navigate through it. For larger documents like this one might be, yeah, that one's not too bad. Some of these things become really long, you know, several hundred pages. You might have, it's kind of a blink and you miss it for this one, but there was a blue bar, that was a progress bar as it was loading. If it's a large document, you'll be able to see, you know, how many pages this part will load before the whole thing does. So if you see something that's, you know, some of these items, you know, you might find are 1,100 pages. Give it a minute. You know, it depends on how quickly the site is able to load it and how fast your internet connection is. But yeah, give it a minute. That blue bar will be running across the top as it's trying to load items. And again, even if you didn't do a search, you could still search in here. So I'm just going to type in code because I know it's in here. And there it goes. It'll search, you know, and then this behaves like, you know, like a PDF does. You know, it'll chapter things and all that good stuff. Home page. Law collection. I'll point out that the executive orders are in here by governor. So similar structure to the Arizona Attorney General's opinions, where we organized it by Attorney General. Here we've got it organized by governor. So same idea there. And then, you know, the journals and things like that. These just kind of are a running list of documents. So we put the year first, so that way it would order itself from chronologically from oldest to newest. So that's set up like that. I think for now, at least, that's probably the things that are, you know, worth pointing out, you know, for special attention. So yeah, so let me open it up to questions. Let's see what we have here. Where would I look for court records for Pinal County for the 1870s to 1880s? I believe court records is state archives, so we share a building with them. So they're our colleagues. They're in the same back-end ticketing system that we can access. So that would be something where you can contact us with that question, and then it's likely, especially when you get to the county court records, I don't believe we really have a whole lot of those on the memory project. But the state archives, I believe, has those physical records. And yeah, you would basically submit a question and an archivist would pick it up for you. And let me actually grab that link. Before I close the session, I will put that link in the chat to submit a ticket with a question. And that one goes to everybody on the back end can see it. It doesn't go to AMP us specifically. Are there rules for structuring a search, for instance, using quotes around certain terms? Now, Boolean doesn't really work. We don't use it for AMP. So let me go back to the search. And I'll spend a little more time about how each of these advanced search functions work. I'll point out one thing too, because you might see this first. If you come here and do the search and you type in, elections, for example, run the search. This one is set up to be as broad as possible to help you just get in the ballpark and then use these filters to narrow things down. So if you were interested broadly in elections, then you can come here, you could format and say, anytime there's more than 10,000 search results, it'll tell you more than 417 pages, because the 418th page would have more than 10,000 results, and that's just a limit. So just know that if you see this, that means there's more than 10,000 search results, because again, you're searching the entire site, and elections is a big topic. So for example, if you are interested, for example, for a document, okay, that at least gets us down to 6,800. Starts with probably won't help you a whole lot. But if you're interested in doing something for a date, let's just see what's available for the 1880s. Click on that. Cool. Now we're down to 7. And again, this may not be exactly what you were looking for, but if you were doing a more broader search, or you're just like, I just want to know what was available about elections in this decade, this is what's available. So you would use those filters to do that. So that's a homepage search. It's deliberately set up to be as broad as possible for you to use these filters to narrow down what it is that you want. If you come here, where you have the option available already to do advanced search things, then you could come in here. You can tell it which format that you want. You don't need to put in things like quotation marks or anything like that. If you were trying to do an exact phrase search, or you're interested, like, okay, I only want, let's see if we can do, let's do clean elections, because that's a very specific thing. You wouldn't put quotes around it. You would tell it to do an exact phrase search. If you want to search the text recognized field, so something that we've run OCR on, something that's text inside the document, you want to keep that as the default. Again, if you're only interested in documents, this you can sort of tell it, okay, I only care about those. These all represent a different item type in the site. If you want to get really fancy and you're confident where you're looking, you can tell it that, all right, I only am interested in documents and I'm looking for something, whatever your search terms are, in this specific field. So these are all the metadata fields in this template. It doesn't search the OCR things, so it's not good for that. But if you feel fairly confident that clean elections appears in one of these fields, maybe the description field, something like that, you can do that. You would click add, and now when you run a search, it'll look for clean elections in, I've selected part of. I know it's not going to, I doubt anything is in there, but you could do that. And if you want to take it away because you're like, nah, I don't want to do that anymore, then you just cancel, remove it, cancel it. But now we've selected exact phrase search, which replaces the need to put the quotation marks. Search for that. Okay, now it found 1,521 results. And again, you would use these filters to narrow down. And you can also refine your search terms, add or restrict keywords. You could put in mission if you wanted to update the search. Got rid of a few. So yeah, that's the best way to kind of those I would say are like the rules for structuring a search. Use those advanced search filters to tell the site how you want it to look and where it should look. That's the best way, I would say. And again, if you get stuck on something and you're like, hey, I ran a bunch of searches, I'm looking for something, would you help us out, just to make sure that I'm not missing something? For sure, we can help you with any of those just site navigation questions. One thing that we also have too is a research guide. This is public. I can drop this link in the chat. It'll also be in the PowerPoint presentation that's going to be uploaded, which I will also grab a link to before the session is closed, so everyone can grab it. So this is a research guide. It's general research for using the Arizona Memory Project. It's not just law-related materials. It's using a site as a whole. So you can see, how does OCR work? Here's your navigation panel. So here's the search button, filters and facets, how you use them, what they do, features. The search for, how you refine search terms, how you can order your search results if you want them ordered differently, how to download things, how to share something you found. So yeah, this is a good guide for how to use the site generally. Regardless of what you're looking for, this is here to help you use the site as a whole. All right, I don't see any other questions for now, but if anybody wants to either raise their hand or throw another question in the Q&A or the chat, then feel free to do so. While that's happening, I'm gonna while people are thinking of if they have a question or typing one out or something, I'm gonna grab a couple more links for you to drop in the chat. The link I just dropped, the azsos.libanswers.com/form. That is the generalized question place. It doesn't go to me directly. I can see it, but it's not just AMP related. So if you have a broader law question, our law librarian will spot it and pick it up and help you. And and sometimes we get pulled in for that if it's something about here's a link on AMP for something, or so sometimes we combine how we approach the question, but we do have a law librarian who can help you. And the other link I'm going to get and drop it in the chat is where the recording of this session and the slide deck that as a companion to this recording will be made available. So I'm going to go get that link and put that in the chat. All right, there's the link. That goes to the Amplify Your Research Sessions page on the Memory Project website. You'll see they're not up there yet because this recording has to be downloaded and uploaded into AMP and all that. So that'll be available later today, hopefully, as long as we can get that recording. And but while you're in that link, if you're searching around, you'll be able to see the other research sessions that we've done. So if you're interested in, for example, how to search newspapers or government documents, those are there. You'll see that the slide decks are there in the document section, and the videos section will have this recording in it when it's available. Okay, I am not seeing any other questions so far. Within an hour of closing this recording, you should receive a survey for this. Let us know how we did. It's also a place to let us know if you had any specific questions that you had that you thought of later that you'd like us to go over with you. You can let us know there. You can always contact us as well. But quick survey about how it goes. The slide deck will also have a link to register for upcoming sessions if you're interested in those as well. We've got, I believe, 3 more for the rest of the year. Yeah, one in August, one in September, one in October. The slide deck will have dates for those and how you can register and set up. Not seeing any other questions. I want to thank everybody for coming to the session today. I hope it was helpful for you. Again, we're available to help with any questions that you have. I know we had a limited of time to go through a whole lot. There's a lot more that goes into the log collection and how it gets into AMP and what kinds of things we can put in AMP. Yeah, it's a whole world, and we're able to sort of only kind of scrape the surface, but we're here to help. Thanks very much for attending. I hope to hear from some of you as you do your research on AMP. And thanks again, everybody. Take care.